Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy AAron2420, bringing you guys our Week 1 P4G Minors, P4G Next Generation, whatever you decide to call it. It's Week 1 of that, and we're fighting up against BlueRogue, coach of the AFC Wormadam. Now, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, which you should, check out the rest of my links in the description as well, including my front office and Discord server. But on my Twitter, I updated, I said that this would be a late vid. Basically, life happened. I ended up having to delay it because I can't say no to things, and I kept saying yes and yes and yes, and I overdid it on myself, so I'm sorry to the P4G. I already let them know this would be up late, so they already know. But yeah, Week 1 is going to be up today, though, Sunday, as of me recording this. I just got back from skiing, so, you know, we're back for the weekend, and we're here to record our P4G Minors. Now, if you haven't seen the team builder, which you really should, one, you weren't already told that you should go sub to BlueRogue and check out his side. It already went up on Friday, but you should still check him out just in case if you haven't already. Let's say you didn't check out the team builder and I didn't tell you that already. So you should do that. Also, you wouldn't know that I decided here I'm going to lead alone in Ninetales versus his team regardless. As you can see, he does bring the Victini, which is what I mainly want to scout for. He also brings Manaphy, Togekiss, Stakataka, Mega Latios, and Swampert. I figured that regardless, I saw either a Manaphy or a Victini lead. I'm going to lead off with Ninetales, scout for a potential Scarf on either. If not, then I get my Veil up regardless, and that helps a lot with potential matchups later on, such as with Manaphy, if I can get some Tail Glow turns up, if let's say he kills me off after a Veil, or if let's say he goes for U-turn, I could potentially hard swap in some other counter. I really wanted Veil up in general. I figured that he probably wasn't Scarf also. I figured that maybe he's like Banded U-turn or Banded V-Create in general instead of click that. He actually is Scarf, in fact. So that really does suck. We take a ton of chip at the very beginning of the game, and by chip I mean we're dead. Sash would have been really nice here, to be honest, but it happens. Sadly, we did have to sack there. No Veil either. I hard swapped to Florges here. I figured that I didn't want to risk if he wasn't choice, maybe he was Z-move Victini. I also wanted to potentially try and see what his switching would be. And again, I take any hit. I figured it was really hard to set up with Manaphy this early on in the game. I didn't want to have to already lose Manaphy if he wasn't choice, unless he was Expert Belt and went for Energy Ball into a KO, maybe because he outsped, or one speed ties more so. So I go for Toxic here. I figured that most likely I thought that his switch was going to be Togekiss because he could always heal off of Toxic. It was actually very stupid of me to think that because Stakataka just comes in for free and Gyro Balls. It takes any hit I want to throw at it. So luckily we get some Veil chip on, some Hail chip on it, and so it's a little bit of chip. I switched into Donphan here. I figured Donphan could take any hit that I want, regardless if he wants to go for Earthquake, Gyro Ball, whatever. I'm going to take the hit really well because I'm physically defensive. Hopefully, I was hoping for Gyro Ball. He actually does not go for Gyro Ball. I figured Gyro Ball would have been really nice because he would take his Rocky Helmet damage since I am max Fizz Death. In hindsight, I probably should have also ran Min Speed and ran like a Brave Nature or a Relaxed Nature. More so, yeah, Relaxed. So that way then I could also take as little damage from Gyro Ball as possible. But that's a little overlook I'm sort of just realizing now. But Donphan, regardless, though, is my best switch in. I figured I could fire off an Earthquake. I can go for Rocks in general to try and potentially keep Victini more pressure later on, along with Togekiss. And really just all of his team in general, break any sashes he might have. So I do, in fact, go for Rocks here. I figured that was my safest play. He can't really do anything to me with Stakataka, so I know I guarantee get my Rocks up. So he does bring in the Togekiss here. I'm not too sure why he brought in Togekiss, probably just to try and Toxic me off and flinch, because he knows this is my greatest counter to Stakataka. Besides Aegis Slash, if I'm, let's say, Shucka Berry, Aegis Slash, and I have something on my moveset like Sacred Sword to counter, and if that was the case, then I guess. But otherwise, I don't really beat out Stakataka 1v1. So I do, in fact, though, hard swap here. I figured I can go straight into Florges, because Florges can always Toxic this thing. I can take any hit from Togekiss. I have Synthesis as well. That way then, just in case if I need... Since I couldn't really fit Protect on the set, I figured that I can always just go for Synthesis and try and beat out Togekiss 1v1 while it just takes Toxic damage. I could have put Protect on the set regardless and just try and Toxic Protected with Wish and Moonblast, but I figured that wasn't really as useful because that way then I don't have Aromatherapy, and I really figured that Protect was vital if I was going for Wish. So I brought Synthesis instead. I figured that for this particular matchup, it would be nice. So I actually go for Synthesis here. I figured he was going to hard swap into Stakataka. He actually goes for the Air Slash. So very good play on BlueRogue's part, just trying to get off some nice damage. I go for the Synthesis here. I don't want to reveal I have Aromatherapy yet because it gives him a free Toxic turn later on should he choose to go for it. And also the fact that he could always potentially status me again. I figured that Synthesis was my best play regardless because if I had to switch out here, I would much rather keep my Florges as healthy as possible. So right here, I figured he's probably going to stay in, and I go for a Toxic, and he actually hard swaps here into Stack Attack now. So, you know, very good play on my opponent's part. He's just reading me left and right at this point in the game. I am very pressured because my Stack Attack I switch in is right now very weakened, and probably will not take too many more Earthquakes. It can definitely take 2 more, but it's not really appreciating it if, let's say, Stack Attack gets up rocks, and then I get Earthquake 2 more times, and then I'm done, because my switch-ins are going to be very limited to Stack Attack. So right here, though, I do actually make a really decent play, in my opinion. I go into Crobat. I figured that I'm going to take an Earthquake, which is what he went for last time. He actually goes for Gyro Ball and totally predicts me, I feel like. Or at least I'm pretty sure this is predict. And nearly actually kills me. I'm surprised it didn't kill me, to be honest, just because of the massive difference. I figured, though, if he gets up rocks, I am doomed, so I had to just go for Brave Bird. There wasn't really any use in clicking Taunt, because had he just went for Choice move, which at this point in the game I actually thought he was Choice because I miscalculated my Donphan. I figured that he was locked in Gyro Ball. There wasn't really any point in me switching out because something else is going to take a Gyro Ball pretty heavily besides Manaphy. Well, somewhat Manaphy. Manaphy would have taken more than I would like to from a banded Gyro Ball. I'm pretty sure it was actually 2 from Band. And Aegislash, I didn't necessarily want to switch in Aegislash right now in case he wasn't Choice and predicted me and going for Earthquake. So I ended up sacking Crobat there. He didn't bring Scolipede, so it really wasn't that useful to the match. We're already down 4-6 though. I figured I have to bring in Aegislash here, maybe fake that I have a Sacred Sword, maybe force him out, because I figured that he probably was banded at this point in the game. As I said, I played this whole game around it just because of that one miscalc. So I figured I'd fake that I have Sacred Sword, and I'd go into Aegislash. I could get up a Sword Stance regardless of what he brings in. I should be doing decent damage to it with either Iron Head or Shadow Sneak. He actually brings in the Swampert. This is probably his best one to take this on by far, because Togekiss would have died to an Iron Head. Mega Latios would have taken a ton from a +2 Shadow Sneak. Victini would have as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure Victini would have been O-code by it. At the very least, it would have after Rocks. I know for a fact. So regardless, though, I figured I can just go for King Shield, maybe scout what he wants to do. If he's trying to go for Earthquake, or if he's trying to just get Rocks up in general, I figured I can try and see what he wants. He actually goes for the Roar here. Very good play on my opponent's part. Again, as I said, at this point in the game, he just kept making reads on me left and right. And he brings in my Donphan. I really did not appreciate this because I really needed Donphan to just not be forced in right here, because it forces me to switch in something else on the Swampert, and I would rather not have to keep switching out as much as possible. But right here, though, I bring in Shami's Girl, the Manaphy. I figure that should take any hit that I really need to from the Swampert, maybe, or hopefully he goes for something like Scald or Ice Beam, which he in fact does go for the Scald, because I could take that relatively well, or actually very well, I might add. And then I can just Tail Glow up next turn. Unless if he's Rindo Berry, he is not going to live with the Tail Glow, and I figured that this would definitely force him out. And since he was leftovers, in fact, I would definitely force him out. So he goes into his Latias here. He tells me after the game, actually, that he meant to outspeed me, but I'm pretty sure he probably just EV'd at level 100 to speed creep, and then the speed tie ended up being a speed tie, because if you speed creep at level 100 for Latias to Manaphy, at level 50 it ends up being a speed tie once you do the level reduction and all that. So that's most likely what he did. Regardless, though, he messed with spread. He ended up speed tying me. And right here, you'll definitely be able to tell that, as I go for the Tail Glow and then into Ice Beam. I outspeed with the Tail Glow, and then he outspeeds me next turn. I'm pretty sure. If not, I just outspeed him twice. But I know for the point is, though, he meant to outspeed me. He fucked up his spread. Very sad, because I know when I fuck up my spreads, it really sucks. He goes with Thunderbolt here, though. Really nice play on his part. I end up luckily being able to live that hit because of my Wakan Berry. I figured this was a very nice bring for physical Victini with Bolt Strike. And it really ended up working out for the Latias, though, because it actually, according to him, it made it so that he had to click, I believe, Bolt Strike, if I'm not mistaken, against me with his Victini later on, as you'll see in a moment, since I did, in fact, kill the Mega Latias with Ice Beam. If I didn't have Wakan Berry, or if he didn't mess up his spread and was able to outspeed me and hit me twice, he would have been able to actually Thunderbolt me into range of really any of Victini's attacks and potentially just swept me with Victini at that point, because I would have had nothing. But luckily, though, we were at healthy enough HP to the point where he... Oh, it was Thunder. That's what it was. I was saying. Point is, I know he missed his move, and it allowed us to actually sweep with Victini at this point, because now he has no Mon that outspeeds us and no Mon that lives a hit. So we have the Surf Off, and Victini, it obviously kills. This is the underwater realm of Manaphy, so, you know, everything has to kill from Manaphy. And next up, he brings in his Togekiss. Togekiss will not take an Ice Beam very well from a +3 Manaphy, and even if it does take, even if it did, let's say, a Spadef Togekiss, let's say he was Spadef, he could not have possibly beaten me 1v1 with this. he would have definitely lost out that matchup. But of course, you know, we do kill off because we are +3 Manaphy with Ice Beam. But just in general, he could not have really done anything to us back, even if he somehow lived a hit. Next up, he brings in his Swampert here. As I said, I have Energy Ball. He knows this from when he switched into Latios, and it did very little damage to the Mega Latios. So I go for Energy Ball here. I'm expecting, obviously, you know, no Rindo Berry, because of course we saw he got the Leftovers recovery up earlier in the game. So of course the Swampert's gonna die here. We end up next having to see him bring in his Mamoswine, and of course, you know, Mamoswine is in fact going to die to Manaphy, because we're Manaphy, we're at +3. That's what Manaphy does. It just kills everything. Because, you know, Manaphy's a god. So, you know, we kill with Manaphy. We luckily end up being able to get rid of his entire team with this, as next his stack attack and it just dies to a Surf. So, very unfortunate for our opponent though. Sadly, he fucked up his spread on his Mega Latios. Most likely would have, in fact, for sure would have gave him the win. I'm certain of it, because at this point, unless by some I got a chance to set up with Aegislash and get to like +2 or 4, which even then he could have always rode me out with Swampert, as he would have definitely lived at any hit I had. I really just had nothing at this point in the game had he gotten his spread right. So very unfortunate, but I mean, you still take those. It's still a win. So it's not like I'm just going to redo the game because of it. So of course, though, we do end up winning this game, luckily. We win at 4-0. So make sure to check out BlueRogue, though. Hopefully he does better off in terms of his spreads later in the season. That's going to be it, though. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below, and I will see you guys next week when we take on Fries, coach of the Rotterdam Raptors. I will see you guys later, though. Peace out.